the words that you should be familiar with from 4th grade is this word right here, perpendicular. And it's not manicure. Quit looking at your cuticles. Thank you. So, what does perpendicular mean? What is perpendicular?
Isn't it two lines where they never meet?
No,
That's the opposite of perpendicular.
it's two lines that are cross each other.
So we have what you said was this, where they never meet, and that's actually parallel. And if you look in parallel, I have two parallel lines. The two L's, they're parallel. So that'll help you remember parallel has two parallel lines in it. So perpendicular is when I have two lines that intersect. Two lines that intersect. So use a set square to draw a line perpendicular to the x-axis through points P, Q, and R. Label the new line as the x-axis. Now when they're saying a set square, because the thing about lines being perpendicular, are those perpendicular?
No, don't have to be a right angle.
They do. So it has to make a right angle. It has to be straight up and down. This one has to be like this. So now it doesn't matter that this is at a diagonal. If I've got the line that's going like this, I have to make sure that this line would be going straight up and down the opposite direction so that it would still create a 90-degree angle. So that's why they're saying a set square, so that I could be creating that straight 90-degree angle. It doesn't always have to be going straight across, straight up and down. It does not, you can't be looking at it and going, well, that's diagonal, I can't. Yes, you can. Not all lines are perfectly horizontal. You just have to create a 90-degree angle to the best of your ability. So I know that you would have a really hard time doing this on your graph paper. I'm really going to be focusing on the plotting down here on the bottom. That's what the graph paper's for. So this right here, I would probably really use a ruler for this, just to try to make it as straight as possible. So where I've got point P with line X, point P says use a set square to draw a line perpendicular. So my line right there, perpendicular, intersects, crosses through, not parallel, crosses through and creates a 90-degree angle. This line goes this way, so just me being me, I actually kind of turn my head. Or if it's on a piece of paper, I would even kind of turn the paper so that I'm looking at it to where it would be horizontal. If you've got a piece of paper, there's no rule that says that you can't turn the paper. You know what I'm saying about that? I would actually take the paper and turn it to where the line would be going horizontal. It would make it easier for me, so I'm not having to sit there and turn my head. So I would still, or take my ruler and make my ruler go this way. Now, would that be perfectly 90 degrees? No. The only way I could get it perfectly 90 degrees was if I had some kind of math tool, which I don't. I used to have that stuff, but I gave it to another math teacher because as soon as I started teaching math, we quit doing it. And then point R. Yeah, point R is on the line. But do I have anything intersecting right now?
No.
Nope. Am I supposed to have something intersecting?
Yep.
Yes. That is an ugly line. But am I doing an art contest? No. Does it intersect and make a 90-degree angle-ish?
Yeah.
Yes. Would I sit there, if you actually had to do something on your homework or on a test, would I sit there with a compass and go, oh, that is 80 degrees. That is wrong. And you're wrong. Now, if you had it and it looked like this, I would go, we need to discuss what a perpendicular line is. That's nowhere near. You know, that you need to kind of figure out what a perpendicular line is. But if it's, you know, if you've got it and it, you know, straight up and down. This is as close to straight up and down as I can get it while I'm drawing a cookie. You know, I'm having to look at it like this and kind of go like this. You can always take a piece of paper, fold it in half, use it as a guide. Take a book, use it as a guide.
They helped us in doing something.
There you go. Okay. That's using your prior knowledge. That's awesome. Okay, so this is where we're going to use the graph paper and not so much the template because the lines are way too faint. See how they're blue on here? That's why it didn't copy. Light blue does not copy well. If we copied this, you'd see the shapes really great, and then you really wouldn't see the lines. And that's what's going to happen on probably a couple of your tests. If we copied any of these on your tests, you see the shapes great and not the lines very well. So that's going to be kind of a struggle a little bit. What? What? I didn't hear. I heard that shit. Why are you doing that? So, here, I want you on your graph paper. Let's see. At x coordinate 2, y coordinate 5. What shape is there? So, x coordinate 2, y coordinate 5, it is the triangle. You always do x and then y. Because if you try to do 5, 2, there's nothing there. There's nothing there. What is that x1, y2? A circle. x1, y2 is the circle. What is that x5, y6? The square. What is at x6, y5? What? Octagon. Not very pretty, but it's hard to do with a smartboard marker. So over 6, up 5. So this kind of question right here on B always messes people up. You need graph. Is that the? Okay, good. When it says, what shape is 2 units from the y-axis? What that means is, this is the y-axis. Do you agree that this is the y-axis right here?
Yeah.
Okay. So, if I'm at the y-axis, what shape, if I'm at the y-axis, if I went 1, 2 away from it, what shape is 1, 2 away from it? Is it the circle? The circle is only 1 away from it. So here's 2, what shape is 1, 2 away from it? The triangle. You can't count the lines. It's actual numbers. So Because they did like skip a line, skip a line. I think it's maybe to have room for the shapes. Or half, 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5, 3. So remember, in Engage, we do a lot of fractions on our axes. So what shape is 2 units from the Y? If this is 1, this is 2. I mean, sometimes you can even number them up here if you're not sure. So it's the triangle. What shape has an X coordinate? So it would be where it's an X of 0 and something for a Y. Means that it would not go to the right at all. An X coordinate of 0. It would only go what direction? It won't go to the right at all. Because if you've got an X coordinate, what way does it go? To the right. So if it has an X of 0, can it go to the right? No, 0 is right here. So if it has an X coordinate of 0, is it going to go to the right? No. So it's the only direction it's going to go. Up. It's going to go up the Y. So what shape, I think Haley knows, what shape has an X coordinate of 0? It's the one that's right here. That's a trapezoid. That's not a trapezoid, that's a rhombus. I'm not saying trapezoid. Ding dong, ding dong. That is a rhombus. It's right here. It's X of 0. It does not go to the right. It only goes up 1. It does not go to the right. It only goes up. So the rhomb. So what? Okay, so this one isn't even, this one right here, the pentagon. What can you tell me about the pentagon? This is not a question on the paper. What can you tell me about the pentagon, Andrew?
0 Y.
It has 0 Y. It only goes across the X. It does not go up. So this one has 6 to the right, and it doesn't go up, so it has no Y. It goes to the right, because don't we go to the right first? But it's like, nope, we're done. We're not going up. Boom, we're done. This one is like, not going to the right, just going up. That's why 0 is first. Not going anywhere, just going up. Just going to the right, not going up. So if there's a 0 first, you just go up. If there's a 0 second, you just go to the right and then you stop. One of these you had on that mystery picture last week. There was a 0 as one of your coordinates. Which shape is 4 units from the Y? So I'm going to do that very first part. 4 units from the Y. So I'm going to look up at my Y axis. So here's the Y. And we need to look and see 4 units, 4 numbers away from the Y. I may not even have to worry about the second part. 4 units away from the Y. 4 units away from the Y-axis. This is the Y-axis, yes? Here's the Y. What shape is 4 away from the Y? I know Andrew probably has it. Anybody else? I can't just point unless you're doing this. This doesn't tell me anything. Antoine, do you have it? What? That one right there. There's like 7 that ones right there. Huh? The 1 and the 3 and the 4. This one?
No.
This one?
The diamond.
This one? This one?
The diamond.
This one?
The
The diamond. That's what that's called? This one. So let's check. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 away from the Y. Right there. Is it 4 away from the Y? Yes. So we've got this. And 3 away from the X. So if this is the X, 1, 2, oops, I skipped. 2, 3 away from the X. That's a really hard concept to do because people tend to do it backwards.
Where's the line?
I was just counting. Oops.
How would you do the Y on the other side? Because that's the Y side on left.
I know. 4 units from the Y. So I started at the Y and I counted 4 units away from the Y. We got there. I was just double checking. 3 units from the X. 3 units from the X. It was that. I was just proving it again. So some people have a tendency to do it backwards and go, oh, from the Y, okay, it's over here. Over here. And they pick the totally wrong shape. Because it is a hard concept. Okay. This one. I know. So first off, before we do a whole lot, I want to, yes, this one, you're going, now you see why I was telling you not to waste paper. So if you need the back, because I did actually tell y'all to, and some of y'all didn't do it, I told you to write that. Some of you did not. But, like Haley did, thank you, Haley. So you're going to, and she used up the whole front, and that's okay. If you did not use up the whole front, then you have room. Use your time, your space wisely. If you don't have room, flip it over. Now I want you to see, I'll do this again on another piece of paper. We're going to recreate this grid, but don't get crazy numbering because you see that you've got fractions. So we're going to do this grid, and we're going to sort of kind of recreate this. I want you to write smiley face, diamond, sun, and heart. You do not have to write X coordinate, Y coordinate. We're just going to write the parentheses and what coordinates, where are they found.
What's that? Looking like, I don't know what that is. What is that?
Like a cloud. All right. So the smiley face. The smiley face is pretty easy. What are the coordinates? What is the X coordinate of the smiley face? I have to go to the right 2 spots. It's right here. So the X coordinate is 2. What is the Y coordinate of the smiley face? You have to go up to 1. So what you should have written was 2, 1. I skipped this part because you guys should be able to do 2, 1. Because we did the mystery pictures last week. You guys should be able to kind of skip ahead and not really have to do the X coordinate, Y coordinate, because we kind of did like a pre-lesson last week. Where is the diamond located? Were you able to figure out the Y coordinate? We'll do the X coordinate first. So with the diamond, we have the X. What is the first number for the X in the parentheses? Well, Daniel, so they're going like this. So yes, it is 2. You have to go over 2 to get to it. Were you able to figure out the Y? What is it? So we have 3, and it's over here where there's no number. They didn't really tell it to you. I know you know it, Quinn. So I know you said it, and you were right. Now, this right here If you remembered yesterday's lesson at all, you can't forget from one day to the next what we're doing in class. You really can't. So, when there's no number on a grid, it's up to you to figure out what that number is. So, yeah, we've got 3. We've got 3.5. We've got a blank here. We've got a blank here. We've got a blank between 0 and 1/2. We've got a blank between 1/2 and 1. Just because there's no number there doesn't mean there's no number. So, just like yesterday, make a little number line real quick. We have 0, we have 1, we have 1/2, but just like what's here on the y coordinate, Hunter, we have a line in between 0 and 1/2. We have a line in between 1/2 and 1. Does this kind of make you go just a little bit more so you can figure out what these numbers are? How many spaces are there between 0 and 1? How many? How many? How many?
4.
Spaces, not lines. How many spaces?
4.
1, 2, 3, 4. Fractional parts. We did this just yesterday. Just yesterday. Between 0 and 1/2 is what? Between 0 and 1/2 is not 2. Between 0 and 1/2 is 1/4. This is 1/4. This is 2/4. This is 3/4. This is 4/4. We did it yesterday. We numbered the stew out of number lines yesterday. Do I need to pull up the video and show you that I have evidence that we did it? Now I had to tell people to quit picking their fingers and quit looking at their arms and quit doing stuff. That might be why we don't remember it. When there's no number, you have to look at it and figure it out. You have to look and see, oh, I have no number here, no number here. Let's see how many pieces there are between 0 and 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, 4ths. It's right there in front of your face. You are responsible for figuring it out. So this is 1/4. This is 2/4. This is 3/4. You don't have a lot of room to number it. So every single space is going to be exactly the same. They're going to number the x-axis the same as the y-axis. They're not going to do thirds down here and fourths up here. If it's fourths down here, it's fourths up there. It's going to be the same, regardless. So you're not going to have room really to number anything, and if you do, it's going to get really, really messy. It's up to you if you want to number it. I know I can't really do it with a smartboard marker. So if you're looking, we're still looking for the diamond. So here we have 3. The first line after 3 is 3 and the first line after 3. 3 and 1/4. This is 3 and 2/4. So this is 3 and 3/4. I'm glad y'all are eating snack, but snack does not replace math. So it's 2 and 3 and 3/4 for the diamond. So what is the coordinate for the sun? What are the coordinates for the sun? Coordinates, you have to have two numbers. What is the x? How far does it go to the right? Tamaya knows 0. It doesn't. If it goes, see how it goes straight up the y? Does it go to the right? No. So the x is 0. You cannot just give me a number. If it's asking for coordinates, how many numbers do you have to have? 2. You have to have an x and a y.
0 and 3 and 3/4.
3 and 3/4. It's on that third line after the 3. 3 and 3/4. If I come around and I look at your papers and you don't have everything written down that I've asked you to write down, you're getting an N in work study. Just FYI. For your information. And the heart. What is the coordinates for the heart? Kylie. So the first coordinate, the x, tells you how you go to the right. The y tells you how you go up. So are you sure you want to give me a 0 first? Andrew was helping you right there when he was going, do this, don't do that, do this, don't do that. He was helping you there for a second. I would take his advice. Jasmine, you know? There you go. Because it's 3, 1/4, 2/4, 3/4 along the x-axis. Oops, what am I doing? Does it go up at all?
No.
It does not go up. So it is 0. You just put the 0 in the wrong place. You only put 0 first if it does not go to the right. Did it go to the right? Yeah. So you put the 0 second. If you're on the right track, you just put the number in the wrong one. Okay. Name the shape. Name the shape whose x-coordinate is 1/2 unit more than the heart's coordinate. So let's see, the heart x-coordinate is 3 and 3/4. We need something that is 1/2 units more on the x.
Yeah.
1.5 more. So 3 and 3/4 plus 1/2. Is it? Because no,
It's the start.
3 and 4, 6.
It's the start.
so if this is a 4, 2/4 is a half, so then it would be there. That's only a 4. I should say so. So it would be the star. Josh is rude.
I was listening to her.
Well, why are you listening to her? You need to listen to yourself. All right. Oops. So I want you to do this. Plot a triangle at 3, 4. Can y'all see this? Plot a triangle at 3, 4. Plot a square at 4 and 3/4 and 5. Plot an x at 1/2 and 3/4. So a triangle at 3/4. So over 3, up 4, So your triangle shouldn't be too far from that diamond. So it should be up there. The square, 4 and, get all this other stuff out of the way. The square, 4 3/4, is right over here. Up 5. So your square should be all the way up there. 4 3/4. Goes the line in between 4 1/2 and 5, and all the way up top. And an X. I saw quite a few people doing this one wrong. 1/2, right here. 3/4, right here. Your X should only be right there. I saw X's. I saw people doing X's up at 3 3/4 way up here. I saw X's over here. It's 1/2. 1/2 is right there. 3/4. 3/4 is right there. 3/4 is not even more than 1. 3/4. Right there. Over 1/2. Up 3/4. Right there. So your triangle's there, your square's there, your X is there. So there are times that you will have to do this on quizzes. You will have to do this on tests. And if you're off by just like one spot, it's wrong. So you will have to make sure that you really pay attention to what you're doing. Plotting points. If it tells you to put it on 1 and you put it on 1 1/4, it's not right. So you're really going to have to pay attention to where you're putting things, because it happens way too frequently. If it says 1 2 and you go 2 1, is that right? No. So you really have to pay attention to what you are doing. It happens a lot. The pirate's treasure is buried at the X on the map. How could a coordinate plane make describing its location easier? So how could using a coordinate plane, so this kind of thing, so how could using this make finding that easier? Telling its coordinates. So if they said if they had this grid on that map, and they could say go to 0.65, and then they could say, okay, each square is 5 paces, and they could say go this way, this way, this way, this way, go up 5 over 4, that many paces, 5 paces over 4 paces, and they could be in that general area. But so, oh man, I was able to move just a minute ago. So, oh, hello. That's not what I meant to do. So, what would happen with the question that y'all didn't get to yesterday, it didn't even have an X. It just said if you were a pirate and you buried a treasure, and you needed 30 paces from the tree, what would be an easier way to be able to find your treasure? And so people were like, you would need to put this, you would need to do this, and some of the answers I was getting was really weird, and I was like, you would need to be very, very specific and maybe use a coordinate grid.
If they make a map out of if they make a map out where it's
Yeah, so you would normally, when you have a map, you have some kind of scale. Every inch is this. Every square is this, and that's what you find a lot with maps.